Hi. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Victory Talk. I am your host, Reverend Jackie Miller, First Lady Jackie, Reverend Jackie, Sister Girl, whatever you like to call me. I'm good with that, long as it's something nice. Amen. So tonight, I'm so excited about tonight's show. And as Pastor Phil and I, oh y'all, I'm so sorry, y'all, my glasses looking real crazy right now. Okay. As Pastor Phil and I were getting ready for tonight's show, we really realized that we need this communication too. So tonight on our segment on marriages, we will be talking about closing the gap in communications. We are, that's right, closing the gap in communication. We need to be able to communicate more clearly so that each and every one of us have a full understanding as to what is being said, what is being asked of us. And I don't care how long you've been married. Can I get an amen? I don't care how long you. Amen. I don't care how long you've been married. There's something that you need to work on in your marriage, and always communication needs to be worked on at all times. So, with that said, did you hear something, Pastor Phil?
I'm just saying here. We just here talking. I just want to know: Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Are you picking up what I be putting down?
No, I'm not.
Evidently not. So tonight, are you picking up what your spouse is putting down? I'm not sure, because I know he don't be picking up what I be putting down sometimes. I don't know how we made it this far, but so I'm gonna take this opportunity. We've come this far by faith. I'm going to take this opportunity. First, before I do anything else, I just want to lift up, the Gray family, the Y family, all of them, because Reverend Candace Gray, she went home to be with the Lord last year. And I just want to acknowledge that marriage right there, almost 30 years, Pastor Gray, Reverend Candace, an example for us. They married us, and they, awesome example. And I'm so sad for those of you who did not get to know her or get to know them as a couple. But for those of us who did, wow. And
most importantly, we survived their premarital counseling.
Woo! You better come on with that.
If you decided to still get married after that
premarital counseling, yeah,
you were meant to be together.
Baby oil. Baby oil.
Oh Lord.
Baby oil.
Maybe look at our past in a whole different light.
Yes. But we love them dearly. We love them dearly. And so, as we before we get started, let's just do a little housekeeping. Tonight we want you to call in. We want to hear from you. So we want you to talk back to us. We want to hear from you. And so tonight we want to put out our chat line. And the number is, and please remember, when you call in after you finish talking or what have you, after you finish talking, go ahead and hang up and let the next person get in there. So our number is 978-990-5014. And the access code is 5026048. All right, I think we good. Let me get that number one more time. 978-990-5014. And the access code is 5026048. And you can go on to if you can catch the advertisement, the number and the access code is in the advertisement. Okay, so y'all ready? Couples, y'all ready? All right, man. So we have two awesome couples, and I'm going to I'll give you the names, and then I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about themselves. They can tell you how long they've been married. They got children, grown children, dogs, cats, whatever it is that they got. I'll let them share that with you, and then we're going to get started. So our first couple that I'm going to bring up is Dustin and Christina Jeter. Woo! They are they are family. They are our family. I'm cousins. I'm with nieces, nephews. I'm not sure the relationship, but we're connected by marriage. Praise God. Dustin and Christina Jeter, and they are members of Kingdom Fellowship Marriage Ministry from Kingdom Fellowship AME Church in Silver Springs, Maryland. So, come on, Christina and Dustin, tell us something about y'all.
Go ahead.
So we've been married for 3.5 years. We're both from Maryland. We grew up in the Silver Spring, Montgomery County area. And we love each other and are still in our relatively new season of marriage. But we are working on communication all the time. That is something that we grow in every day. So yeah, that's us. I work for the federal government.
I'm a public school teacher, high school teacher, so
and
football coach. So it definitely gives us great practice at our different jobs how to communicate with other people, and then I have to find a way to figure out how to communicate with one another, because I can't just yell my commands to my wife and tell her you do this or 25 push-ups. It's not the same way. And so learning the difference between our work life communication and our home communication is a big thing. So it's one of those things that they never tell you about before you get married. So I learned, so that's us. That's Christina and I are happy to be here.
Amen. All righty. And so our next couple is Antoine and Cicely Grant. We have known Antoine and Cece for, we've been married for 15 years. Yeah, it seemed like it's been, because I knew Antoine before, we got married. So it's been a long time. Our children played ball in the same rec, on ball and cheerleading in the same rec. And Scotty is 34 and Tony is 33 and Sam is about to be 30. So it goes back, some good ways. I think even Antoine coached the boys a little bit in basketball. So yeah, we go back a ways. Then we went to church together at St. Stephen's.
We're members of the same singing group.
Can't wait to get back on tour.
Y'all gonna have to wait a minute, because I ain't getting on nobody's boat right now. So Antoine,
you know what the people need.
We know what the people need. Antoine and Cece, come on and share.
Hi. I don't see us on the thing like they were.
Let's just talk.
Oh. All right. Well,
I love you.
Antoine and Cicely Grant, Cicely Grant. We've been married for 22 years, right? Yeah, 22 years. We have 2 children. Our daughter Lakira, who's 27. And our son, Tyler, who jumped on a couple minutes ago, he's 22. And we've been at this thing for a while, definitely still learning and growing. I consider him to be my best friend. I hope I'm his best friend. Yeah, we cool. Yeah. We've been through it. We've been through our ups and downs, and we're still learning each other, although we're 22 years in, but I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't, I think this has helped me learn, this experience being married has helped me learn more about myself, helped me to be a more patient person and discover a more sensitive side, because I'm definitely a person, either you're going to like me or you're not. And I'm comfortable with that, but it's helping me to grow. And I just love the whole opportunity, and I love you guys for embracing us as we've grown, we've come, and we've shared. I know I've shared stuff with you, Jackie, and I'm sure Tony has shared stuff with Phil that he will never admit, but it's cool. And I just love you guys, and thank you for this opportunity.
Awesome. Awesome. And so I'm gonna let Phil, because he feel right now, y'all. He feel. Tonight for marriage, he feel.
Well, then what?
I'm gonna let you tell the people about us. Go ahead.
Okay, let me tell you. Let me tell you about us. Okay, we are Phil and Jackie. All right, now we've been married for 15 years. That makes me a 15-year survivor. Okay, you know it's hard to survive. I mean, Antoine, he done survived 22 years. He's been in them trenches because you know marriage is warfare and there is casualties. So anyway, so we've been married.
You gotta get ready.
We've been married for 15 years, and we've got 6 wonderful children. We've got 2 grandchildren, one on the way. Can I say, if you say you're going to let me speak, see, that's what communication means. Communication means when you say something, the other one listens. Anyway.
Break it down, Phil.
Anyway, so we have 2 grandchildren and 1 on the way. We have, how many godchildren? So
now you want to hear from me?
There's just no, I really don't. This is communication. Communication means the man talks, the woman listens. Anyway, so
I'm gonna let him have that for the moment.
So anyway, it has been wonderful being married to Jackie. And the thing is, you know, we all look for on that day of our wedding day, we all have those dreams of how marriage is going to be. And we have our honeymoon and everything just all good. Because, you know, when you're at the wedding ceremony, I don't know what to see the wedding ceremony, that's all about the woman. Because, you know, everything is about the woman. And we're just sitting there thinking about one thing. We're thinking about honeymoon, honeymoon, honeymoon. But then there are those days after the honeymoon, and you look up one day and say, I think she's crazy. I think she's deranged. But anyway, marriage has these ups and downs, but the great thing about marriage is as long as you have that open line of communication, you can get through whatever. And so it is just a pleasure to be here with these great couples, with this great lady. I love her. I love me some her. Anyway, so let me get all the stuff out of the way. So we're just glad to be here. And Reverend Jackie.
Okay, so with all of the pleasantries out the way, I just want to say one more time before we go, go into our conversation, because I see people that are jumping online. I'm just going to throw the chat line out there again, 978-990-5014. The access code is 502-6048. So tonight's topic, closing the gap on communication within our marriages. Did you hear me? But before I get there, I just got to ask you guys, who's working from home still? Anybody working from home still? Okay. Yeah.
I ain't never going back.
Yeah. So with that said, how y'all doing working from home with each other? Anybody?
We're not working with each other. She has to go in every day, so.
Okay. I see you stretching your eyes, CC.
I wake up at 6:30 to turn my computer on or get on my phone because I downloaded the email on my phone and just make sure nobody's emailing at 6:30, and then I either go back to sleep or we watch Martin or we watch the news or something like that. I don't really start working until around 8 o'clock when people start coming in or actually logging on because we're all working from home at this point. I love it. I've already told my supervisor I could do this until I retire in 2024. I'm good. I don't have to ever come back in that office again, ever.
Cece, I see you giving him the, you blinking, you giving the side eye, the twisted mouth.
It's called throwing shade.
It's called hateration.
Yes.
Come on,
all of the above.
Don't.
Hateration, whatever you want to call it. I don't like none of it.
Come on, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Okay, so Dustin and Christina, what's going on over there? How's working from home working with y'all?
I mean, our dining room table has turned into Dustin's desk. We, you know, we can't put anything on it. He's taken over the dining room. I always get the kitchen table, just one little corner of the kitchen table.
Because
she is more than welcome to join me at the dining room table.
But we can't always be on Zoom meetings at the same time.
She just has to listen to me more whenever she's talking. Or her, as I talk at my Zoom.
At least y'all got up to make it to the table because I opened my laptop in the bed, so.
Most of the time, that's where I am. But, he
being thoughtful of her, allowing her to stay in bed. And
Got you.
Walk downstairs to the dining room, give her some space, There you go.
Look at that.
So any what's the stress like? What's the stress like with you guys, working from home? Is it more stressful? Is it less stressful? How's that going?
So I think for us, we're blessed to be at the point where I pray every day for those people who got kids at home while they're going through this, because that is for real. I can see the kids I have in my class, and I can close my computer. I'm done with them. But so our stress level is not as high as it probably could be.
Okay.
But it's definitely times where we both have things we're trying to get done and going on, and you got to coordinate. It's got you got to talk about it. So that's the hard part.
Yeah.
But I think for us, we've been able to, thank God, go through this without too many bruises going through.
Yeah. We've got enough space in the house that we can, when we need space, we can take space. So that helps.
Good. What's up, Cece? What's up, C?
For me, it's a lot less stress being in the IT networking field. So you understand how many ID10T errors we can have throughout the day because people just aren't. But it's not having to literally be in the office going back and forth between 3 and 4 buildings every day, and actually face-to-face interaction. Now everything is pretty much done, through email. And 90% of our issues now are people just not being able to remote in the morning for some reason. And once we take care of those issues, other than the website changes that I have to make, the day pretty much goes easy. So this couldn't have came at a better time. I literally, my last radio show was March the 14th. I decided to step back from radio at that time, just to try to rest my body and spend a little bit more time with my wife. And then literally that was on a Wednesday, and then that Monday we started teleworking.
Oh,
so
wow.
It happened at the perfect time for me. I'm getting like a double dose of rest, and it's been perfect for me. I can't complain at all.
Okay.
Because I've had the bathroom totally remodeled.
Yeah.
I've had work done here in the kitchen, and we're having the whole basement waterproofed in the next couple weeks. So I haven't had to take off. It's him just outside of when the bathroom, the guy was a little bit disorganized and texted me at work saying, hey, he says he need more product or he need this, that, and the third. And I'm like, just go ahead and take care of it and whatever. But it's been perfect because not having to take off of work, neither one of us. He's here while his worker's doing work in the house. So that's been kind of ideal. Hopefully he can be off for a couple more weeks to get his basement done.
Now I'll just take off.
Yeah. Because you don't have to take off. Right.
Yeah. I got vacation time now.
So let's talk about hearing each other. And as you guys, for the viewers, you guys didn't get to see that part. But as we was getting prepared in the background, on the back of the scene side, y'all got to see it. But the viewers didn't get to see it. And he wasn't hearing me, and I wasn't hearing him. He pretty much said,
"No, you weren't listening to me. I heard you. You weren't listening to me."
Between hearing and listening,
I wasn't hearing him.
You won't try. No, you were not listening. I know. I
wasn't hearing him. But yes, you are right. There is a huge difference in listening and hearing. And I wasn't hearing him, and he wasn't listening to me. And so we were having a little bit of, some difficulties getting situated. And we realized that the Tonight Show on communication was like, yeah, it hit home. We was really, God was giving us a reminder that, okay, you really need to get this doing tonight. Amen. So with that said,
what the topic was, I was like, ooh.
And I started not to tell you until you got here, but
and once you told me, I started to back out till next month, but I said, no, we're going to go ahead and get it.
So tell me about listening and hearing in your relationships. So since you already talking, Antoine, we're going to throw this one at you.
I think that I've learned that there's different levels of hearing and listening. There is okay, I see that your mouth is moving and I know that there are sounds coming out your mouth, so I'm going to respect the fact that your mouth is moving and there's sounds coming out your mouth, but at this particular point in time, I'm really not trying to hear, understand whatever it is, because this just isn't what I want to hear or communicate about this time. And I think the one thing that I learned about Cicely, and I'm gonna just be honest and real, she's kind of stubborn. And when she has her mindset on particular things, it just kind of needs to be that way, whether you agree or not. So I've learned, through a lot of trial and error and a lot of, up and down over the years, to just at least hear the ideas out, or to hear the thoughts out, depending on what it is that she's going through. And I think that I've gotten to the point where I listen better and I know how to respond depending on what the situation is and what she's going through. And just being able to just see that right there, just this ain't the time. But you as years go on, 21 years in marriage, 24 plus years of knowing each other and dating, you still learn on almost a daily basis little, different things. And the one thing that I've learned is different situations have to be handled different in different ways. And sometimes that way just may be to just be there to listen and not say anything at all. Sometimes she just needs that ear. She just needs that time where she can vent, whether it's the stress that she goes through on a daily basis at work, whether it's something that we're going through, personally. Sometimes, I might not agree with her, but I can sit there for 15, 20, 45 minutes, an hour sometimes it seems, and just be like, okay. And once I've gotten to learn that, it's kind of closed the gap, so to speak, on the thing that you guys are talking about.
Cicely?
He said nope.
Is that nope, you're not going to talk?
No, definitely I'm going to talk. So I agree with some of what he said, not even majority of what he said. And sometimes, like, I want to talk and vent just to help me to work myself through the process. Not that I'm like exactly the point I'm trying to convey. I'm sometimes trying to internalize it and get myself to get on board with whatever is going on, just to get it out. Mainly if something crazy happened at work and I need to come home. It has absolutely nothing to do with us or him or our situation, but sometimes he gets like the undertone with it because I couldn't do it at work. I couldn't vent the way that I really want to get it out at work. And even like, you'll know, sometimes I'll be like, and girl, and he'll be like, I'm not a girl. Because I'm so used to chopping it up with the females, like I'm not going to stop and then say something, you know what I mean? So sometimes I'll be on a roll and I'll come and I'll be venting, and I'll be like, I can't believe it, girl. And guess what? And he's like, I'm not a girl. But I just have to get myself through the motions. And like, I know for me, I come home. My big thing right now is come home after I've been confined in a building with masks on, sometimes with like gowns and all that kind of. They recently did away with that, with the gowns and the hair protection. But I still have to come home and unwind. And my unwind is whether it's sitting on the side of the house or sitting on the front porch for a little bit. And I just need to get that breath of fresh air and just come to myself. And then I'm ready to deal with the house situation. And sometimes I feel like he don't get it because he's been here in these four walls all day and instantly like on me, I feel like sometimes, and I be feeling like I need my own space. So sometimes he gets it. He gets the bad part of me. But he loves it. Well, he loves me at least, not even what I give him.
That's just marriage. The good parts, the bad parts, that's just marriage. And I gotta piggyback on Tony with the stubbornness. You know, Cicely and I are both Tauruses. And so
I was going to say that. I was going to say that.
That is no excuse.
So the stubbornness,
that is no excuse.
I get you. I get that. You know, you knew what you was getting when you got it.
Yep.
Hey, I'm a Sagittarius. I'm a hunter. I shoot it all down.
Okay, Christina and Dustin, listening and hearing.
I feel like I've grown a lot in our first 3.5 years of marriage in terms of trying to be a better. I want to fix things. I want to like talk it out. I want to talk about it. If there's a problem, I want to address it like right now. And so for me, I had to learn that that's not how Dustin responds. That's not how he communicates. And so we are very different in terms of that. And so in the spaces where like in previous relationships, I would be like, I'm ready to like shoot off from the hip and like just say whatever I want to say or however I feel. I have let God stand in the gap for me sometimes. And so like I will just be quiet, which is hard. And really just try and like in the moment where I want to say the thing that may be the ugliest thing to say, I be quiet and ask God to like help me with my silence so that I don't say something I can't unsay.
Yeah.
So I think I've gotten a little bit better about how I communicate with him, but also in how I can pick up on not just what he's saying out of his mouth, but his body language. So listening to both his verbal and nonverbal communication and just learning him and learning how he responds and how I can help pull things out of him from like the beginning of our relationship to now.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, when we're talking about communicating, it's easy when it's a positive communication, right? I can always tell you I love you. Like that's the easy part, right? It's when it goes wrong, everybody has a plan until it goes wrong, you know. And so I think the key part is setting boundaries with one another about, you know, how we're going to communicate when things aren't the easiest conversations we're going to have, right? So, you know, we're lucky when we're normally working together, you know, we're normally going to work, we commute together, we ride the same car to go to work, so that gives us a dedicated time we can talk about some things that we normally do during that dedicated time. It's been a little different now that we haven't been driving into work every day, but setting up that plan or whatever that is to have that conversation is important because it sets up situations where if it is a hard conversation to have, we can both, know what the expectations and boundaries are.
Do you find it difficult to make listening a priority? Because as we at the beginning of the show, as we were getting started, I really wasn't listening to him. I really wasn't. It wasn't that I wasn't just hearing him. I wasn't listening to him. And a lot of times we can tend to turn each other off because we have our own agenda. We have our own things that we're focusing on, and too often we start to try to formulate what it is that we want to say or what it is that we want to do. So it's really important to make listening a priority. Is that something that you guys have started to exercise, or do you utilize it? Do you do it? I realized that I wasn't doing it tonight. Anybody?
We try to do that. Like, that's always our intention. And it's hard because most of the time you're conditioned to listen to respond. And I've had to kind of unlearn that for marriage, right? Like, I need to listen first just to listen, to hear what he's trying to say to me, and not be so quick to like, well, if we're in argument mode or in conflict resolution mode, am I just trying to listen to him so I can get my point? And like, all right, you said that, I got a point for that. You said this, I got a point for that.
Damn.
You said this, I got a point for that.
Damn.
And so exactly that's one of the things that I've had to try and work on, because he may just be saying something to get me to understand where he's coming from. And so one of the things that we learned at one of the retreats we went to was that each person gets 7, like, you can set a time frame to talk, right? And if you decide that your conversation or your conflict resolution time is going to be 7 minutes each, then I get to talk uninterrupted for 7 minutes. And my job as the listener is to really be focused on what they're saying, not be thinking about how I'm going to respond, but really listen to hear them and to take in everything that they're saying and not be so defensive about it. It's harder to do in practice, like, because once you're in it, like, you're in it. You're trying to be like, okay, well, last week you didn't take out the trash and I asked you 4 times, and now you want me to come and do something for you. Like, what is going on? That's generally how I communicated, and that's not helpful. So us having ground rules, as Dustin said earlier, about how we're gonna do conflict resolution in our communication, has been important. Like, we don't go to bed angry. We just don't. We don't let the shoe go down on our anger.
So you just sit up all night?
No. We're going to agree. We do one of 2 things. We're going to agree that we're either going to talk about it right then to try and come to a resolution, or we're going to agree that we're going to revisit it at another time, and but we love each other and our anger is going to go away. So I don't go to bed and like wake up the next morning and I've been so angry, and heaven forbid he would pass away in his sleep, then I can't take that back. So we've made that agreement that our attempt is to not go to bed angry. So
I go to sleep like this anyway, so it's not a problem.
He'll be like, and
I'll catch you in the morning.
I have woken him up before if I've been angry. So like, we gonna talk about this, but it helps to have those ground rules, and he's usually pretty good about that.
So let me. What you say, CC?
He left saying he would have had to kick me out of the bed if I would have woke him up. And I was like, oh, really?
So can I piggyback on something that Christina said
Yes.
minutes ago? And it was funny because it kind of took me back to one of our marriage ministry meetings when you guys were in charge, and we kind of were basically talking about, I guess, the power of the tongue and how we've had to learn to not knowingly say those words that we know are going to bite our spouses, in the butt, so to speak. And Miss Queen of the throwing the daggers here, I can honestly say that I believe.
Here it come.
I think she can.
Bye, Antoine. I'm gonna miss you.
But I can honestly say that I think that she's gotten better at being able to not say those little things that she know are gonna like pinch me, and rub me the wrong way. Just to intentionally, tick me off and take me there. And I think she's also not much, but she's also gotten a little bit better in something that Christina said, that she doesn't as much come back at me with the, well, what about when you did this and what about when you did that? When, I'm talking to her about something that she's done that's rubbed me the wrong way. She used to be like the queen of it. Now she's probably just the princess. She still does it, and but for me, that was always my trigger to say, okay, my argument is justified, because she only did that as a defense mechanism. You know what I'm saying? So now I don't know if she's learned that I know that I'm always right when she does that, or she's just learned and gotten better.
No,
not saying that I'm always right in every argument, but 9 times out of 10, you automatically, like, that's your defense mechanism to say, okay, yeah, I might have messed up now, but what about you?
I can have to make a point.
You don't always have to make.
I think we often. I've yet to be over at somebody's house to see the scoreboard up on the wall in anybody's house, right? Like,
come on now.
Oh, you ain't been to our house, have you?
Right. So, like, keeping track of, trying to win the argument by getting the most points never helps anybody. It feels good. Trust me, I know. I like a good argument with anybody.
He likes to win.
I like to win, right? So I like to win. But at the end of the day, I had to remember, I made a vow to make sure that we are gonna love each other through better and through worse. That I'm not gonna keep track of all the things that you might have done, because at the end of the day, the end goal is still the same. We're supposed to love each other like God loved us,
Yes.
And so sometimes he forgives us for doing some things that we shouldn't be doing. So I got to learn to forgive as a part of my communication too. So it's one of those things that's, if you do have the scoreboard up at home, right, you might want to take it down or use it for something else, because keeping track doesn't help anybody. Because the moment that we keep track is the moment that breaks down.
She used to have the Dallas Cowboy Stadium scoreboard up in the middle of our bed. You know how big that scoreboard is.
Right.
But she's definitely gotten better. And like I said, I think the more you get to learn each other, and the learning part of it never stops, the more that you kind of understand, and you just gotta figure out ways, like, what's working for you guys now, and 3 years in might not still be working, at 10 years, because you guys are going to continue to grow, in different ways. So as long as you're first and foremost willing to admit your part of the situations that you're going through, that will automatically ease the blow on everything that you're doing. And then it's just a matter of learning how to communicate to get through the situations. And, my big thing And this is something that at age 50 I'm still working on. I have a person when I feel like a person is talking at me as opposed to talking to me. That could be at marriage, that could be at work, that could be in just general life. But and I think that she knew that at one point that she could talk at me, so to speak, and I would feel like those daggers are being thrown, and that would kind of throw the situation, in a loop. But as we've gotten, as we've grown more and we've really become, each other's best friends to the point where, like, we're just the goofiest of each other when we're around each other. And as we've, grown, through this, we've been able to conflict the resolutions better for us.
I've come to a season in my life, and it's been building that, and it gets on Jackie's nerve that whatever conflict there is, for me, it lasts only 30 minutes because, as Christine said, life is too short, and I can't give that stuff more than 30 minutes. I have to move on. So, there's sometimes when, we've had, as we call it, heated fellowship about something, and Jackie will come to me and she said, well, I done totally forgot. I don't know. I honestly don't know because there is no scoreboard. To me, it's just the championship. I've already won. So there's no need to keep score.
You didn't hear what I said about you.
And so, in this thing of when we are in conflict, when we have stuff going on, the craziest thing is as a couple, and you know your spouse, those buttons to push. And there are things that somebody else outside they can say, and you just kind of like dust that off. But then your spouse says it, and it's like somebody stabbed you. And a lot of times, and I know early on in our marriage, we all kept this little toolkit. I know that this will piss her off. So when she come at me, I got something for her. And I've learned that you have to throw that toolkit out.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping the checkbook, I call it, keeping the checkbook and pulling out a check and cashing it every now and then, that really does not work. Trying to save, what somebody did, what they said, and how often they did it and how often they do it, that's going to lead to arguments because, if you say you're forgiven, you've got to let it go. You've got to let it go. I want to run back up to something that Antoine said, basically about how we talk to one another, how we talk to each other in our marriages, as opposed to talking to each other or talking at one another. That has it makes a huge difference. How do you guys? I mean, Antoine, I heard you say you have learned. I don't know if Cece was back in her seat at that point.
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't. Okay, and so you want to share what you said?
So God is basically still working on me with that part because, like, I'm still that person that can have that temper that goes like this when I feel like somebody is talking at me. And again, that's home, that's at work, that's out. And that could be church. Y'all know how church folks can talk at people sometimes. But I think that Cicely, Cicely has gotten better, and I don't know if it's something that she is conscious of or if this is just something in her growth over time. But yeah, she doesn't come at me in that way because I always felt like when she was coming at me, she basically wanted to smoke, so to speak. She didn't want this to just be a regular conversation where stuff was just gonna, you say what you say, I say what, and then we go. You wanted this to turn into something. But she's gotten better with that.
Oh man!
And I want to smoke.
You want to smoke? supposed to bring the ruckus.
Bring the ruckus.
She don't want that smoke no more. She
So-
getting old now. She getting close to 50, so she know how it is.
So is that something that has mellowed out? The longer you have got, the longer you've been married, is that something that
It's the longer we've been married, and it's the older our kids have gotten. And I'm gonna just be honest, because when those kids get older, and you start getting more along in your life, and kind of get to that point where you're ready to just start settling. Phil said something, and I'm gonna try to reach that 30-minute goal with you, bro, because I'm just at that season where I don't have time for all of the, you know what I'm saying, like all of the stress. Like I got enough gray hairs, going on where I just don't feel like I need, and that's why this pandemic has come at such a perfect time, because it was really starting to be a stressful time for me at work because of stuff that was going on, and God just said, okay, we're gonna break this up right now. So I've just been in that space of mind where it's just like I don't have time for it anymore. Like, if you want to be miserable, you go, in the basement, or you go sit on the porch and you have a little attitude. Let me sit downstairs and play my PlayStation, or sit upstairs and watch TV, and then we'll try to talk it over when, cooler heads off the bill.
I just want to throw it out there and let y'all know he at the 30-minute mark, y'all. He has, yes, God has, he is good with that, for real. I am not. I'm real with y'all. Y'all know I'm real transparent. I am not. Look, I can hold something. I stay up. Did not go to sleep mad. Oh, I can stay up. I am, and it takes me a little bit of time to get myself calm, get myself in, a calmer headspace, and then in that time while I'm calming down, God is working on me. I've truly learned how to. I'm better with my mouth. I'm so much better with my mouth, because my mouth used to be a trigger, because I would just say what came to my head. But God has truly, worked on me and dealt with me, so that although I may still be upset, I may still be angry, I may still be hurt, but I'm quiet. And while I'm being quiet, God is working on me. And so I'm real. I'm not at that 30-minute mark. It might take me, to, a couple hours. It might take me to the next day. I can go, 2-3 days, and I'll just be quiet, because I can't. And sometimes when you get in that kind of space, it's better to be quiet, so that you don't say something, or you don't do something, or you don't react in a certain, you know what I mean? Y'all know what I'm saying?
Because, like, I know for me, it's better for me, mainly, if the truth be told, if I know I was dead wrong. I got to get myself out of my feelings of feeling like I got to be on a deep defensive side and be so snappy. So it's better for me to work on me inside and say, all right, see, you was dead wrong. Come on, just chill out or whatever. And I always know when I'm working through that process, because I won't even initiate to say, can I get you some, this, that, and the third? But I'll just throw some idle conversation out there that I know he's going to chime into. And that's my way of kind of making amends a little bit, like to smooth things over, because I can go a couple days and I'm real straight. I'm real good with that, because I can get in my own head and be silent. But that's the place I need to be for that moment, because if I come out with it, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be real reckless. And I don't care who did it.
Christina and Justin, I see y'all shaking your head. Y'all newly married. How's that working for y'all?
So one of the things that you talked about, I think, is like so spot on. Like, I I have a great record book of all the wrongs, which is not biblical. And one of the things that I have tried to remember is we wrote our own vows when we got married. And Dustin, one of the key things that Dustin said to me in his vows to me was that he would keep no record of wrongs. And so he promised me at the altar that he was going to give me grace even if I didn't do the same thing. And I have to remember that every day, that like there's a man that God put before me who said he would give me the kind of grace that God gives me, even if I'm not willing to do it in the opposite direction. And so that has helped to check me a lot. Like a lot. Because sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm so mad. I'll go upstairs because I'm like, I'm going to be quiet, but I'm still going to be mad. I'm going to stomp upstairs because I'm going to be quiet, because I'm not going to say that thing I want to say. And sometimes I will say to him, like, I could say something right now, and he'll be like, okay. And I'm like, but I'm not going to say it. And then I'll say it in my head, and I'll stomp upstairs. But then when I'm upstairs, like Cece said, like when I'm upstairs, and then I'm like, you know what? But he has already forgiven me for whatever it is. He's already squashed whatever this thing is. And I'm still holding on to something, and it's just making me, it's just making my blood pressure go up.
Exactly.
Because he's downstairs on PlayStation having a good time, or
30
watching a
minutes.
game.
30 minutes.
He wants to feel. And I'm mad. I'm about to have a stroke.
Yeah.
But he's good, right? Like, so I think one of the things,
worth it.
it isn't worth it. And it's like, I really took to heart when he said, you know, keeping no record of wrongs. That really spoke to me in our vows. And I was just like, okay, well, if he's going to do that every day, then sometime I should be able to do that. Sometimes. God's still working on me.
I hear you, sis. I hear you. And you know what, Christina, that is just such an excellent point. Extending each other grace. You know, if God didn't extend us grace, where in this life would we be? And I think that marriages, you know, a lot of times we forget to extend each other the kind of grace that God has extended us. And like I'm gonna always say, I'm gonna tell the truth for myself. I'm transparent. I gotta work on, you know, more and continue to grow in the grace that you know I should be extending, and mercy that I should be extending in marriage. Phil is really Philip is the man loves me. I mean, he and I was thinking about that the other day. This man loves me. I mean, love like a love that I've never experienced before. If I had to say, if I've ever known a love that was as close to what God loves me, to know it on this physical earth, I know it from this man. And sometimes I get into my stubbornness and my emotional, comes into play and everything. And I don't always respond to him or, act the way that I'm totally should act. But I'm grateful that, that he extends me some grace. And he don't puff your chest up, man.
No. What I was saying. What I'm thinking. If you look biblically, the Bible says that husbands are to love their wives like Christ loves the church. And keep in mind now, okay, we found out in this season that we're in, the church is not that building that you go to.
Yeah.
The church is us. So I am to love my wife as Christ loves us. Now you think about us. And we do some off the wall stuff. I know Christ be sitting daily saying, man, look at them. They doing this stuff again. But you know what? I'm going to love them anyway. Oh, they done messed up again. But I'm going to love them anyway. Look what came out of their mouth. But I'm going to love them anyway. And so when we look at that example, and so I know being that the man is the head, so you have to admit that that is biblical. And as the head, I am responsible for everything that is under me because Christ is going to look at me. And so I have to adhere to that same kind of love. Is it easy? Because you know what? I was thinking the other day, if I was Jesus and I had to get on the cross and the nails and the beating and all that, y'all wouldn't be here.
All right.
Y'all, I'd have been like, Daddy, you know what? Let's just start over with something else. Maybe we can just get some dogs or something. Let's just start over because this ain't worth it. But the fact that he went through all of that, and we have to keep in mind that all of that was really not what Jesus was concerned about. He was really concerned about that time when he took on the whole world's sins, and even his Father could not look upon him. But yet and still, he loved us so that he went through all of that. And so that's what I look at, even in the times of when we're having heated fellowship.
Y'all get hot.
That, one thing I do is think about the wedding day. I think about the day that got me there. And I think about how I was looking, how I was thinking, how I was feeling when she was coming down the aisle.
He cried.
And the crazy thing is, once I take myself back to that place, I can't be mad at your craziness then.
Listen, I want to know, what kind of techniques do you guys utilize to help when you're having heated fellowship? What do you do? Christina, I know that you say y'all have this guidelines. You have your guidelines that you operate in. What are some other things that you do when you're having heated fellowship? CC, Antoine? I don't know what you said up there, but I'm allowed this ball back to Dustin.
I think part of it is knowing the boundaries, knowing what a low blow is, and making sure you don't go there, right?
Yeah.
So, as we said earlier, knowing your spouse means you know what triggers there are.
Yeah.
That can get you from 0 to 100 in a heartbeat, and being willing to say, I'm not going to cross that line because that's just going to take me to a spot, or take her to a spot that's going to make me to go to a spot I don't want to be at. So if we're having a disagreement or having a heated fellowship, it's something where what's at the heart of the issue? What are we even fighting about? And if there's a context to it, then we address that context. If there's something that we have an issue about, we try and address that and try and leave the other stuff out of it. Now, it doesn't always happen. Like I said, we already know what our triggers are, so there's times where we press that button to see how far we can get. But every time we've done that, it doesn't turn out right.
Yeah.
Knowing what the boundaries are and staying in our lane and saying, if we're going to have a conflict about something, let's address that conflict. Let's solve that problem instead of trying to take each other down. Because there's only one person in this world that I'm bound by God and my own word that I need to love and protect and cherish and honor for the rest of my life. And that's her. So it's not worth trying to go outside of all the other things that we could be talking about, because at the end of the day, I made a vow that she's the one who I was going to love and protect. So that's why we try and stick to the boundaries of our discussion.
So let me throw this out there. So how do you operate having the hard conversations? You know, those conversations where you really feeling some kind of way about something, or you've really been agitated about something that you've repeatedly asked your spouse to do or to not do, but they continue to do or not to do. How do do you bring them up? How do you operate in those? Because a lot of times, we'll not talk about what it is that we need or we want. We'll just let it fester and hope that it resolves itself. But in marriage, you've got to go ahead and talk about it. But sometimes, it's hard to talk about those things that are really deep seated within us. So how do you have your hard conversations? Anybody?
Get it out. Just get it out. Just get it out. It gotta come to a head. Just get it out. I mean, sometimes somebody's feelings are gonna get hurt behind it, because if you don't get it out, you're just gonna let it keep building up. And honestly and truly, I feel like, I know for me or for us, it just makes it worse sometimes, because it'll be that one little thing, and if you don't really address it, and you just let it keep going on and on and on, then it's gonna take one little thing that's gonna come up, they hit that nail on the head, and you're gonna bring back all that old stuff that you should have already got out. So like, you just gotta get it out. Like, you really have to, as much as it may hurt that other individual in the long haul, I think it'll hurt worse, or yourself, exactly. It'll hurt worse if you just let it keep compiling, because you're walking around with like animosity. I know I do. Like, if I don't go ahead and address something and I just keep letting it slide, and like, it'll take that one trigger, and it won't even probably be about what's happening at that moment. It's all that old stuff that then came to the surface, and now I'm unleashing all of that, bringing up stuff that I've been harboring for a minute. So like, I just can't do it, because it's just not worth it at the end of the day. We at a point now, I feel like we don't have the little kids to deal with, so we don't have those stressors. We should be in a good space right now. We shouldn't have to worry about we can watch our family back and our kids back, but at the end of the day right now, like our daughter getting ready to get married next year, we're going to look out for her, of course, but you know what? She's a whole grown woman, and Tyler's a whole grown man. They're going to make those life mistakes or whatever, but we can't let their stuff bring us down, because at the end of the day, if we've already sowed that seed and tried to do the best that we can do, like I was doing that before with stuff that we were going through. I was harboring feelings about stuff, and it wasn't even really us. It wasn't even I was mad with him. I was mad about other stuff, but then it took him to do, I come home one day and either you ain't unthawed some meat to cook, but you talking about what we eating. And my whole attitude is like, yo, you've been in the house all day, but you want to worry about, no, I got leftover Chipotle from lunch, so you need to figure out what you eating. I'm straight. Like, so, or either the trash didn't go out. Like, you can walk past that trash can all day. I've been gone all day, and I had to come home to it. So it could be like little things that add up to, but at the end of the day, this is all we got. This is all we have right here. And if we don't be the backbone for one another, then what is it all for? You can bang it out for 20 years to let some simple ruin what I have. I can't do it. Yeah. I can't do it. Yeah. At first, when I was younger, I didn't think that way. But like right now, I can't do it. Like this is one of us gonna lay each other down, and that's the way it's gonna go for me. That's the way it's gonna go for me. I'm not going away, and I hope he's not going away. He can be mad with me all day. Be mad. Go downstairs, play your game, but come upstairs in a little bit. We'll figure it out. Keep it.
You better know that.
And honestly, just to kind of piggyback on that, as I'm sitting here kind of thinking about it, like, I honestly can't even tell you the last time that we've really been like knock down, drag out, mad at each other.
And
the one, like, we had one little situation about a month or so ago where she was upset. And once she realized, I didn't do anything. I was like, okay, if you're going to be mad, you're going to be. I'm the type of person where if you mad at me and I know I ain't did nothing, I'm going to fall back and just let you use all of that energy and waste all of that energy. I'm not going to feed into it. So I knew that I hadn't done anything in that situation. So I was like, okay, she's going to be mad. Once she found out that it was a misunderstanding and she was wrong, she came and apologized to me. I mean, the text was like, it meant a lot to me because, like, that was something that really could have taken everything that we built since the last disagreement and just totally crumbled the whole foundation. And I mean, it went on for like maybe at least 2 days. But once she realized that she was wrong in the situation and everything was a misunderstanding, and she came and apologized, I could have been like, see, I told you, and da-da-da-da, and then dragged that on even longer. But it was almost like, okay, once we get through that night, then it's over and we kind of move on. But I can honestly say that it's really been, because of the way that we've kind of grown with each other, it's really been a minute, so to speak, as they say, that we really had any, because I mean, at some point you just get to the point where it's really not that serious, and the stuff that we probably would have been ready to be at each other's throats about at 10 years isn't the same at 21, 22.
Desiree Hart said, "Say it, Cece." She said that during the time when you said that, and she said, Antoine sound like Vernon.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So tell me when so I heard you say, Antoine, that it took her a day to realize, she was wrong. Who usually apologizes the first?
If I'm wrong, yeah, I don't have a problem apologizing if I'm wrong. Yeah, at all.
Dustin?
The same here. I don't have a problem apologizing because I'm never wrong. No.
That's right, Dustin. Right. We men. We're not wrong.
Let me ask you guys this. Go ahead, Antoine.
No, I was just gonna say, when at some point you have to acknowledge the part that you play in whatever situation that you're going through, and until you can learn to do that, whether you be the first person to do it or the second person to do it, at some point you have to be able to be willing to say, I was wrong, I screwed up. And y'all know some of the stuff that we've been through and some of the stuff that I've been the cause of. And if I wasn't willing to say, okay, I screwed up, we probably wouldn't be sitting here on this on this Zoom with you guys. So yeah, I don't have a problem at all. That's like first and foremost, because that's going to be what's going to lay that foundation over everything else that you built to be able to just move on. If you can't do that, then I'm not going to say it's pretty much a wrap at that point, but it's definitely on its way to being a wrap.
You was ready to say something, Lovey?
No, it's just that.
I think one of the things also, going back to just how do you deal with a tough conversation or argument, knowing one another, also knowing your triggers, you also know how you communicate, right? So, I'm a person who likes to diffuse things sometimes with humor or with jokes, and Christina doesn't always appreciate that whenever she's mad and wants to talk about something, or there's something really important, and I come cracking a joke. And so, one of the things, in our premarital counseling that we got was, if you're going to have that serious conversation, if you need to clear the air and have that serious conversation, have something set up ahead of time where you know what your code word is. So it's like, I know I'm serious this time. We really got to talk. This is something, you can say we really got to talk, but I got a joke for you, so I'll crack it. But if we really got to talk, say whatever your code word is, then you both know, all right, this means for the next however long time, we need to sit down and talk for real and lay it all on the table, you know, and then I need to know that, okay, in order to have this conversation, I got to change up what I would normally do so we can actually have a serious conversation.
So Dustin, that's a great point, because for us, my real name is Antoine, but all of my close friends and family call me Tony. And Phil and Jackie can attest to this. When she calls me Antoine,
It's on.
I know it's about to be a problem. I know it's about to get real when she calls me by my real name. So that's her code word for, yeah, I'm not playing. Don't crack no jokes. Get your Vaseline on, get your sneakers on. It's about to go down.
And I'll also say, like, one of the other things for us is, you know, when your spouse comes to you and they are saying, like, I was wrong, I'm sorry, for the person who's receiving the apology, it's really important to validate, like, them being willing to come to you and say, like, I was wrong, I'm sorry, or to tell you something that they messed up, that they made a mistake or whatever. And, you know, that happened fairly early in our marriage. There were some times where, like, Dustin was afraid to bring something to me, and when he finally did, it was something that, like, now we got to fix this thing, like, all right, whatever. I could have been like, I can't believe you did that, like, this is, like, you have done whatever. And, like, this was another moment where, like, I had to be quiet and I had to let God speak through me. And to just say, like, thank you for trusting me with that, because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to build trust so that your communication can be honest, so that your communication can be a safe space between the two of you. And so that was one of the things for me that, like, I had to learn to be a safe space for him to be able to be vulnerable with me, because he's going to go out into the world and the whole world can be against him. And I have to be the person who's going to forgive him for the things that he may have fallen short on. I have to be the person who's willing to help him figure out how we make it right. And so that is something that I had to learn too, that, like, I couldn't just be like, well, you got it wrong, and now, like, I'm the only person who's doing the bills because you suck, and, like, the lights are going to get cut off. Like, you can't do that. and expect your spouse is going to ever trust you again with something when they feel vulnerable. So that was something that I really learned kind of early on in our marriage, and I'm still working.
Yeah.
You need a part 2 to this communication stuff.
Typically, we try to keep it at an hour, but I can't. We can't even get out of this yet. I need to know, what is it like for apologizing? Do you guys find it hard to apologize? Do you need to hear the words, I'm sorry? I need you to say I'm sorry.
Yeah, you do.
I need you to apologize.
See, I'm more of one of those. Okay, it is what it is. Let's squash it. Let's move on. But see, somebody needs to. Yeah, I need for you to say you sorry. Now I need for you to crawl. I need you. You know, you should be groveling right now. I need all this, and then I may feel better after I know that you have been beat down. But see, the thing is, you know, if I'm wrong, I've come to find out, you know, at home in the street, I am man enough to say I'm wrong. Now, I do have a problem if there's just too much groveling that has to go on. I do have a slight problem. Look, I said I'm sorry. Take the I'm sorry. Run with it. You won. It's all good. Let's go from there. Let's not drag this thing out. Let's not go 2 or 3 days. Are you sure you sorry?
But you know what? No. I feel like I need you to I need you to. First, I need you to tell me what you're sorry for. Because for me, if you just saying you sorry, if you just saying you sorry, don't just apologize for something just to appease.
Why do I have to do a
Baby,
dissertation
listen,
on my
listen,
apology?
listen. I need you to don't just appease me with a sorry just to calm me down, shut me
Let me know
up.
what you're sorry for.
Right. Tell me what you're sorry for. Tell me that you sorry because I'm gonna throw you out there right now. I'm gonna throw you under the bus. Tell me my birthday fell on Mother's Day this year.
That ain't got nothing to do with it.
See, stop it.
Right. Thank you. But how you gonna forget Mother's Day and my birthday?
Nope.
I went to Timbuktu to get you a chair for, what was that?
That was our anniversary.
But I had to go to Timbuktu to get this daggone thing out in no man's land. But you know what? I tracked out there. I did. I went out in country. I went out and seen Trump signs. I was scared, but I still went and got that chair. You should just have, I thought that would have bought me some grace and mercy.
Thank you. Our anniversary is April 30th. So our anniversary, my birthday, right.
First of all, the whole thing is a setup. She set me up from the very get-go. Do y'all fellas, do y'all feel my pain?
So I need, you know what I'm saying? So when you apologize, do you have to say I'm sorry? Do you just Dustin, do you just start making jokes and that's your way of sweetie, we good now, I'm straight now? Is that no, I need an apology.
I don't need an apology. You can show me that you apologize better than you can tell me. That's the way I feel about it.
Chicka wow, chicka wow.
If you haven't been talking to me and communicating with me in 2 days, and then you cook a nice dinner, and we start, having praise and worship as we like to call it, and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
That's your way of apologizing to me, and I know at that point that everything is cool. That's real talk. Yes. Yes. That's real talk. That's real talk.
Hey, Antoine. I'm gonna tell you though, we had it. I forgot. I even forgot what the argument was about, and I believe Jackie realized she was wrong. Now she hadn't talked to me, but then she cooks this good dinner, and the first thing I'm thinking, she's trying to kill me. This stuff is poison.
They know the way down hard is food, Phil.
But you know what? I ate it anyway.
You took your chances, right?
I said, and you know what? I had to go around the kitchen, smell, and I said, Jesus, I don't know what's going to happen, but if I see you tomorrow, there it was.
Listen, Desiree said Vernon will come in with the goofy eyes, and I know that means sorry.
With those eyes.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know about it. I need the words. Christina, what you need?
I would like the words. My love language is words of affirmation, so the words matter to me. But also, I've realized that I also have to communicate exactly what I'm mad about if I'm expecting an apology. So, like, I can't just be mad around the house and be mad. I have to tell him so that he can, one, apologize, and two, fix it.
Because I told her early on, I ain't a mind reader, so you gotta say something to me.
And not only is he not a mind reader, he can't read between the lines. Nope. He doesn't pick up subtleties. You got to be extremely direct, and so I have to be extremely direct with him, and I'll have to be like, I'm mad about X, And then he can either say he's sorry about X, or I'm sorry that you feel this way about X, or nothing.
You have to say so.
What's
Right,
X got to do with me?
Exactly.
CC, what you need?
I need the words.
You need the words.
Yes.
Dustin, you need words.
Not really.
No.
His love language is physical touch.
He needs
No.
bounce. Wow, wow.
Time. Quality time.
Yes.
Quality time.
Mhm.
CC, are you looking down? What you need?
She need the words. She need them written. She need them spoken. She needs dinner. She needs a vacation.
I want
She
him to
needs
pray
a
and
basement
dance.
done.
I want all of it.
She need me to do a tropical dance to make it rain. She need a new ring. Kitchen remodeled, even though we just got it done 2 weeks before. She need it all.
Miss Victoria said that's a man thing, but they are smarter than they. She said they smarter than they look.
Hey, Miss Victoria, don't make me drive around the corner.
Smarter than they look. I might head down 40.
I wanna ask you guys about your feedback when you're in the middle of something, and you've gone through something or whatever, and you kind of worked it out, but you still got to work on it. How do you communicate with each other, when things just ain't quite right, but
I
you need to
used to
address it?
tread lightly when I knew that we were only about 70% there. I hate to say it, but now I kind of have the attitude where we got to get through it. So come on, like get on board, like because it gets to a point like the other couple said earlier, where it's no need to just keep dragging something on and on and on and on. You're either gonna get over it and kind of, well, I'm not gonna say get over it, but you're either gonna get through it and try to move forward, or it's like this mocking time and running in place is only gonna lead to something more, to a certain degree. So I'm not the one that kind of like, if she gives me that hint that's like, okay, it's I'm good now, then just be good. I'd rather you tell me that you're good and be good than to tell me that you're good when you're not really. And 3 or 4 days from now, we're still dealing, with something that I thought we was over, a week ago.
And ladies, this is a question to you. When you say I'm okay, are you okay?
Not all the time.
Not all the time. And so, Christina. Okay, Dustin, I get it. So,
Okay.
why do we?
I was gonna say I tried to stop saying I'm okay if I'm not okay. Don't you think
I'm okay just kind of means I don't want to deal with it at the moment. That's the way.
I'm
So
okay.
like I've stopped saying that. I've stopped saying I'm okay if I'm really not okay. I'll say like I'm not okay, and maybe we need to talk about it in 30 minutes, or maybe we need to talk about it in 2 hours. But if I'm not okay, I'm not gonna lie anymore, because that creates confusion.
Yeah.
From verbal to the nonverbal. Like, don't say I'm okay and then be stomping around the house, right? Like, that doesn't help any of us, because he'll be like, "You okay?" And he'll ask me one time, and if I say yes and I'm not honest, then like he doesn't want to have the follow-up conversation. So like I can either be like, "Yep, I'm okay," and like swallow it, or I can be like, "No, and this is how I feel."
Okay.
So that's kind of where I am now.
Well, because I'm on that thing that I'm okay. First of all, if there is something going on, there's already something out there. Okay, let's not be quote unquote dishonest about it. So don't say I'm okay if I'm not okay, because now when you say you're okay, and I'm walking around like everything is all good, and now you're getting mad because why you think everything is all good? Because you told me you were okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's one of those things where I guess we maybe we don't want to talk about it right then, but we actually lied to our spouse, and now we've got them in a headspace, and we're somewhere else, and now and we're mad because they're walking around do 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 do. And can't you see I'm hurting, but you told me you were okay.
Yeah. So we've got to stop saying I'm okay when we know we're not okay. To our listeners that are with us online, let me ask you guys this: what are some of the things that your spouse does that causes you to shut down or to turn off your listening, your listening tuning? What are some of the things? Like, I know that for me, if I'm talking to Philip, and I'm an eye contact person, so if I'm talking to you and you're looking down or you're looking at your phone, you're looking at the TV, you're looking at the computer or something like that, I have an issue with that because I feel like I don't have your attention. Sometimes, if I kind of feel like that he's rehearsed what he's going to say to me or something like that, and not just in our spouses, but also in people in general. You know what I'm saying? So what are some of the things that, turns us off to hearing and listening to our spouses?
When she talk, no, I'm just. I don't really have anything that when I really tune. Really tune you on.
Because sometimes when I come in and I just be talking about work, and you be like, I'm not trying to hear all that.
I mean, necessarily have to be work. It could be just when I'm just trying to
see in a movie.
Something. Yeah.
I can tell when he'll hit the mute. He be trying to tune me out, and then when he know it's not working, he'll just do like this, hit the mute or the pause on the TV, and he'll give me this look like, all right, come on, get it out. He be wanting to.
I know that she's really
not gonna be quiet.
Yeah.
You just let me get it out.
All right, pause the movie, pause whatever it is that you're watching, pause the video game, shut the computer down, whatever, and just let her, because she's not gonna stop. She's not that type of person that's gonna say, okay, I see he doesn't want to be bothered, so I'm just gonna keep it to myself. She'll just keep on until I give in.
So you press pause.
Get it over with. It's better to press pause and let her get her 15 minutes out than 2 hours from now, still trying to deal with the same situation. Mm-hmm. So.
All right now, and I'm gonna throw that question to Christina and Dustin before we close out. Y'all share with us. Come on.
I think Dustin brought it up earlier when he jokes when I'm trying to be serious. So my dad used to do that to me all the time, and I'd be like, I'm trying to tell you something, and he would just joke and joke and joke, and like it makes me so angry because I'm like, you are not listening to me. You are just trying to make a joke, and like, are you even hearing what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like that, when he does that, when he starts joking, like I will immediately shut down. Or like he gets really sarcastic, and he'll get like sarcastic to the nth degree, and I'm like, okay, so I know the conversation is over because you don't want to engage seriously. So those two things will really like make me shut down.
Wow.
And like I think we did that a few days ago. Actually, we were having a conversation about something that was like silly and had nothing to do with us specifically, but or it wasn't silly. It was about your work, but it was not something that impacted either of us in our interpersonal relationship. So I was just like, okay, well, we don't have to talk about this anymore because you're not listening, and you're like you've just gone into hitting one of your triggers for me, and like that's what it does. Like you had to make your point, and then you walked out of the room. So
Wow. All
but
right. Yeah.
I love him. He loved me, and he went and he got me dinner.
Oh,
Yeah,
bless his heart.
after he did that too.
I can honestly say this, and then we can close. I feel like you guys have a better understanding of each other and how to cope and deal with each other at that point in marriage than we did at 3-something years. At 3 years, man, it was all right. Put your boxing gloves on. We're gonna stand in the middle of the ring, and the last person standing wins for that night. You guys are ahead of the game with us right now, definitely.
Let me ask you this, Antoine. With that said, so and I know that Dustin and Christina are deeply rooted in their marriage ministry at their church. I know a little bit about y'all's marriage ministry background because for the years that you guys, how long did we do marriage ministry there?
Oh shoot, what? 12 years?
Yeah, I know. So we know the 12 years of marriage ministry with us, but prior to that, did you start off in marriage ministry? Where did you pick up marriage ministry? At what point in your?
Oh, us. Well, Gene and Neil.
It was Gene and Neil, the Whitson.
I don't know how far into our marriage we were at that point, but like marriage ministry, man, that one Saturday a month, boy, when I tell you it got to a point where I was looking forward to that more than the church service sometimes, man. That helped. That helped really, I can truly say, at least for me, helped us grow a lot.
Amen.
Because when you sit down in front of about what we usually on a regular had anywhere between 12 and 15 other couples, and it was anywhere from 40 or 50 years of marriage to practically newlyweds, and you just have those moments where it's like, wow, the so and so, they've been married for 40 years and they still go through their situations, and then you have so and so that just got married 2 months ago, and you're looking at them like, oh, that's nothing. But that was always that safe space that we had where we could all come in and be 150% transparent and put some stuff on the line. And y'all know we done walked out of there in tears, and some more stuff, man. So that marriage ministry for me was everything, man.
Valid point, but even for me, and this is just being honest, I don't even have to, I don't feel, I used to always have the mindset, if you don't have the amount of years or whatever that I have, you can't tell me nothing. I don't believe that to be the case. That's why I'm going with it. I think if I can relate to you and I have confided in you and I didn't feel like what I've confided in you, or you've seen me and you just looked at me and said, what's going on? Like, I don't even need to say it. Like, to me, it's a kinship that's there, that bond that we've established. And I will, it's sad to say, but I haven't been back to marriage ministry. And it's nothing personal, no shade, but I haven't been back because I don't feel that. And for me, I would like to get back there. And I just need to figure out where that niche is going to be. But right now, like, if I don't feel that if I haven't came to you before and you haven't confided in me, you didn't know the stuff that I've gone through in my household, you haven't been there as a safety net, and I didn't feel like you was going to judge me or look at me like, dang, she reckless with, whatever. I can't give you that.
Yeah.
And I miss that bond. I remember, and it may still be there, but I need to get where I need to be, where I was before, and had that safety net in that zone. And I definitely appreciate the two of you, because I felt like I never missed a beat from when Neil and Jean stepped down to when you guys were there, because it was like you guys were their buffer so it was a smooth transition, and it was relatable. I had a relationship, and I know Tony has a relationship, and we still have a relationship, and we don't even go to your church and I've been there, but we don't even on a regular Sunday fellowship. Yeah. But I just love you guys, and I thank you for this opportunity. I definitely don't take it lightly.
We try to put y'all in what?
I tried to reel us in to take over that Maryland.
We tried our hardest.
Y'all was trying, boy.
But you guys, I mean, you filled in for us a couple times when we were away, and you did really good. And, overall, when we would talk, to the other couples or whatever, and they were like, Cece and Antoine, so you guys, I would have fully been on board as we transitioned out to transition y'all in. So, yeah.
We that's the one time when I'm cool being a substitute teacher. Being a substitute.
Well, I'm just gonna say, as we press pause on communication tonight, I just want to say, y'all know where we are. Our marriage ministry is open to all couples. It doesn't matter where you worship at, where you live at, what you're doing, whatever.
Saturday of the month is that?
What's that now?
What is it? What Saturday of the month is that, or is it a Saturday?
It is a Saturday. It's the fourth. It's the fourth Saturday of every month. So remember, at St. Stephen's, we used to do the first Saturday of the month. We moved it to the fourth Saturday of the month because, yes, sir. Okay. Yeah. So, so we. Yeah. So it's the fourth. The fourth Saturday of the month.
Once we get through this pandemic stuff, don't show up on the fourth Saturday.
Don't show up right now.
You'll be there by yourself.
You'll be there. All eggs. That's actually perfect, because when you guys were at the location down off East Avenue, part of the reason that I couldn't come was because I had a show on Saturdays at noon. Now that I'm not doing it anymore, I'm free on Saturdays. So once you guys come back up, I'll definitely.
Good. I'll find something else for you to do. I got another project, Antoine, and you can be on board with it.
Just let me know.
All right. So
get the smoker ready.
Right. Let me say thank you. It's ready.
All right. I'll be leaving right in a few minutes.
We just want to say, do you want to say anything else before I?
Not going.
Okay, close out. All right. Guys, I would not have done this, but I have so much more topics under communication that I feel like is very beneficial to marriages. So we are just going to press pause on this subject, for tonight. And we're going to pick up talking about communication next month at our Yes Marriage Works Marriage Ministry session right here on Victory Talk. So tonight, I just want to thank you.
Suck it in.
I won't pull on y'all. I got some different couples. Unless y'all want.
We're good. We're good.
Hey.
I was going to say, unless y'all want to come back.
I would love to.
Well, guess what? You're back.
So once again,
keep it to an hour, because after an hour, she gets fidgety.
Yes. We got company over, so they're looking like, I thought y'all said this was an hour.
Oh, y'all got company and y'all didn't invite us? Oh, for real? No, just playing.
Outside, we couldn't even let them in the house.
Thank y'all for coming. We love y'all. Thank you for showing up. What's that now?
It ain't nobody but Paul. Yeah, exactly. See her face right there. Exactly.
Come on, Paul.
Christina and Dustin.
Good.
Thank you so much, all our viewers.
Great job,
Thank you
guys.
for joining in tonight. We love you. We appreciate you. We welcome you at any time on Victory Talk. I love you, and there's nothing that you can do about it. We will see y'all next week for Victory Talk.
Love y'all too.